All right, I've made it to the Mecca, 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls, the legend. This place, Enelow's, keeping people going in the right direction, one step at a time, one day at a time, for over 7 decades. Not as of tomorrow or the next day or next week or next month, but the curtain is about ready to come down. You are going to say goodbye to this business that has been in your family forever. Explain.
It's been here since 1954. My dad opened up. This was National Shoes. He had come out of the service. My grandfather had a little tiny ladies' shoe store up on one side of the Regent Theater, right next to Montgomery Ward's.
Right.
And Dad came out of the service, and the store that was here closed down, so we opened up Enelow's. They were part of a buying group, and Mr. Enelow ran the buying group.
Right.
And he said, why don't you just call it Enelow's? It'll look like a chain, because he and his family had stores all over the place. Greensburg, Jeanette, Mount Oliver. I even saw there was one in Johnstown and a big one in Bellevue. And then we ended up here. There was one in Charleroi. They were all independents, but it made it, look like a chain, because all the towns were full of chains.
Obviously sad, but it's time. I mean, we're all in that third act, but what was the final decision? And you've always been real with me to say goodbye to this beloved business.
I've been kicking it around. You just wonder where the next buck's coming from. It's tough. The insurance on this building costs a fortune. The taxes are a fortune. The building needs a lot of work, and it's just time to go. The major lines are gone. Nike's gone. Reebok's gone. Asics was gone. And I know I could have really gone out there and gone after some of the new lines. There's some hot lines out there. Hoke is one. I've got Saucony, but that's not enough. And after COVID, a lot of those companies said that we can't take care of our own people. We're not interested in anybody else.
Well,
and if I'd have been younger, with full of piss and vinegar like I always have been, I would have pestered the heck out of them until they did it. But
it is what it is.
Yep.
But you're a teacher now.
I'm a substitute teacher at Beaver Falls Middle School, and I love it.
You do love that.
I do love that. I like working with the kids. They might be a little too young for me, because some of my lessons in life, they haven't reached that point yet.
I said sit down. It's amazing how your life has paralleled a life of a friend who sadly is no longer here. His family owned the Silver Bar in Monaca.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to Geneva College right up the road here, got his teaching certificate, but he worked the bar that was connected to the house morning, noon, and night. He was just about ready to embark on a teaching career at Monaca. Dominic Lucy, his name, and his father took ill, could not get up to get into the bar one night. Dominic went in, and he never left the bar. And sadly, years later, he died. But we would often talk late at night over a couple of cold iron and watching the Pirates or whomever, whatever sporting event on TV. He thought about how his life would have been different if he would have been a teacher. Can you imagine, because of the knowledge and the love of youth baseball in Beaver Falls, you're happy that you did this, but you're like me. Sometimes we think we zigged when we should have zagged, but I'm very content. This is the only thing I think I could have done. But wouldn't it have been nice maybe to be a teacher 30 years into this profession?
Actually, after my sophomore year, I tried to get into the School of Education, but too much partying didn't put my grades where they should have been, so I didn't get in. Now, my next thought was being general manager of the Pirates, and after I got out of school, I did have an interview with Joe O'Toole.
Did you?
I did have an interview with Joe O'Toole, and he wanted to know what I really wanted to do, and I told him I wanted his job. His and Harding Peterson's, because I thought I could have made a couple more deals here, and they might have gone to the World Series in '76, '7, and '8, along with '79.
Listen, I'm going to try to pop in here from time to time. I have no time left. Literally, it's just nonstop, and I'm really running on fumes. But I have such love and respect for you, and I didn't even see this on social media, and you kind of let me know earlier today. And he's got some sales running right now that people are coming back to this store, which we appreciate each and every one of you. But you should have been coming for years. You're running some incredible deals right now, especially with the start of football season.
Right. I've got some really nice, fresh NFL T-shirts are 20% off. All my Carhartt gear is 20% off.
Getting ready for winter.
All the NFL caps are 20% off, and I'm only 10% off on my MLB caps, because when this is all gone, I may just do that online. So
why not?
Why not? I can go to the post office every day.
Absolutely.
That's not a problem.
All right, so he's not closing anytime soon, but the ball is in your court. You can get the best gear, the best swag anywhere in the beautiful town of Beaver Falls and save a whole lot of cha-ching.
Yeah, the bottom line is if you're waiting for that 50 and 75% off,
Not happening.
you go ahead and do that. No, it'll happen at
Good.
the end there, but there's not going to be anything left.
So
Well, you want the good stuff, get it now because it's not going to be here.
and really, we're talking pennies on the dollar. You're going to save now as well. And by the time you get to that 70%, and he is going to do it, most of the pickings will be slim. So
It's
get
going
here.
to be gone.
when you
I
can.
mean, you take a look at all these shoes back here that are $39.90. Some of them were $80 or $90 before, so you're already saving 60% on some of that stuff.
All right, being that you're here, I got to pick your brain, so I have some stuff to talk about on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. These are the people that pump me full of all the knowledge that I'm lacking. So you're only as good as your support team. Pitt this week, last week. Give me your early thoughts. Holstein, I think, is the real deal. That kid Desmond can run the football. Defense, I'm wondering. Duquesne, great program, great coach with us every week. Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. But I don't think you can judge what's next against Duquesne.
Well,
I'll say Central Michigan is the second coming of Bo Schembechler and that other school in Michigan. But how well do you think they fare?
They like to pound the football, and they're going to pound the football, and we'll see how good our defensive line is. I think in the middle of the defensive line, I think we're fantastic. Defensive ends are all new, except for one, but he's second team now, and I was impressed with them. I know it was Duquesne, but I'd match our linebackers up with any set of linebackers in the country.
Well,
The secondary may not be there right now, but if you get enough pressure on the guys up front, you can hide that.
When you think about Pitt's success through the years, obviously, a guy like Marino doesn't hurt. But, Penn State was always known as linebacker U because of people like Ham and others. Think about it, though. Swervin, Curvin Richard, Tony Dorsett, Curtis Martin, Shady McCoy. Anytime they've been successful, they've had a good running
We've
back.
had a great set of running backs. It's gone on and on and on for years and years. But when Coach Harris was here, they started to call us wide receiver U because we put a bunch of wide receivers in the pros.
God, he was a great coach.
He
in my
was
opinion.
phenomenal.
Love him.
I loved our offense there, and I've gotten to know him in the last couple of years. He's a phenomenal human being.
Class
And
act.
Yes,
Always
he
there
is.
for me.
Yes, he is. I saw a little note on Facebook. He was walking with a couple of his assistant coaches, and one of the fans came up to him, and he was a big guy, just gotten out of the service, 6'3", 230, and Coach Harris invited him to come up and walk on.
Holstein play on Sundays after this year, you think, or whenever?
He needs more seasoning.
Yeah.
I don't think he's healthy yet. He took off and run, but he had a pretty bad ankle injury.
How many years we have him for?
Well, this is his second
Yeah, so
year
we
here in a
got
red
three.
shirt, so he's a sophomore. But technically, if he did well enough, he could leave at the end of the year.
That's what I thought.
But I don't think he's ready to go. And you already have 5 or 6 guys that are supposedly number 1 picks. I love that. All I heard about for the last year or so was Manning.
Yeah, I know that Ohio State.
He laid an egg the other day.
Oh, I know.
But I'm not gloating over it or anything.
Yes, you are.
No. But my point is at the end of the year, everyone's going to forget about this first week of the season. What happened with all these teams?
You could actually lose 2 games and still make the playoffs.
I think so. Yes.
Penn State's probably going to win it all.
They've got a really good team, and they could. They're that good.
But I love my
that
Panthers.
coming out of my mouth, I'm probably going to get shot tonight if I happen to make any stops.
You got to make a few stops, have a few bourbons and ginger ale. Listen, before I do get out of here, because I got another stop yet to make that I just added to my already busy schedule. Speaking of wide receivers, Larry Fitzgerald. Wasn't
Best
he?
ever.
Oh, my goodness
It's
gracious.
a shame we only had him a couple years.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And Coach Harris just loves him. He said not only was he a wonderful wide receiver, but he's a phenomenal human being. And I've never met him, but he was nice enough to take a picture with my grandson when he was a little boy. And he was just so nice to him. And he didn't know us from Adam.
Well, don't forget 93.7 The Fan all season long, and of course that Pat Narduzzi show on Wednesdays. But Pat's show was on KDK last night as I was sitting in studio getting ready to go on because we had the Pirates on.
Mm-hmm.
So how about the Pirates getting 2 against the Dodgers?
The Pirates' pitching staff's phenomenal. That pitching staff is as good as any that's going to be in the World Series. I think they're that good.
They are.
I think they're that good.
And you know, Jared Jones is tossing the ball now.
He'll be back. He'll be back next
What
year.
about Bubba Chandler, the former football player?
Yeah, we took him away from Clemson.
I know.
You did Pitt a favor.
Dabo Sweeney's still probably never going to forgive us
He
for that.
probably never will.
But
I figured if he was a stiff here, then he could come to Pitt.
I was listening to Steve Phillips, the former executive with the New York
the
Mets.
Mm-hmm.
He and Chris Russo, who I love, they said this Chandler guy's a real deal.
I think he is.
That'd be nice, man.
The guy's got no fear.
And this Connor Griffin kid down in Altoona, 19, he's just stroking the baseball left and right. They're saying by midsummer next year, if things go on course where they're headed, he can maybe be in the big. So
He could be.
here's what they need to do, and I love my Pirates. They need to go out and get some veteran bats. Like back in the day when we brought Bill Robinson and somebody like that. Pitching we have. We just got to get a couple of people that can hit the baseball. But they were also talking about the averages in Major League Baseball now.
They're all coming down. They don't care about the batting average. They're looking at home runs now.
But man, isn't there something? There's only one player I think actually above 300, barely in the major leagues, like 302 or something.
That sounds like 1968 when Yastrzemski had 301 and won the batting title.
Where's the Enelow brothers when you need them, right?
Matteo hit 357 for us.
All right, Steelers. What do you think? Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Sunday.
I just hope he can stay healthy. But in the meantime, they're going to use the first 2-3 weeks it's an exhibition game for them now because they didn't take any snaps.
If you were a betting man, you know what amazed me? I was running the lines earlier today because we pick our weekly winners against the spread. We always go betrivers.net. Man, 2.5, 1.5, 3, 2.
Where is it now? I mean, the money's going back and
it's
forth.
3
back
right
and
now.
forth, back
The
and
Jets
forth.
are getting 3. But nobody's really getting double digits in this first week.
No. No one, 3, that's, you're getting 3 for being at home, so.
Man,
But
how are you going to leave this place someday? Man, this is like a sanctuary. This is like the Holy Grail.
It's going to break my heart.
I don't even want to be here. I don't think I can be, but I'll be so emotional. You'll have to, carry me out of this place. I mean, do you understand the legacy and the history of Enelow shoes? I was telling those coaches up there about this in Geneva. They're like, what? What?
Well, the wall, everybody wrote on the shelves, and I wasn't talking to my daughter. My daughter was telling my wife the other day, I want those shelves, the things she wrote when she was a little girl. And I remember back in the 50s, all the girls that worked here, they made a crossword puzzle with their name on it. It was pretty neat. But
the other thing that's a lost art today, because I wear tennis shoes all the time, New Balance got here, is dress shoes. I used to really love a good pair of dress shoes.
I can't give those away.
I
I got
know.
them all marked $40.
I know.
I can't give them away.
There's just something still about wearing dress shoes, but I get it, much more comfortable, but it's become a phenomenon now as far as suits and tennis shoes.
Nike ruined that.
Did they?
Because, people started wearing tennis shoes and all of a sudden they dressed down.
Although I got to tell you, Doug Haddix, who's an assistant coach for Geneva, had on a pair of black on black Nikes. Man, they were sweet. They are sweet. I still like the swoosh.
Well, you should see all the at the Pitt game, all the people that have bought these custom Nikes, blue and gold. Boy, were they sharp.
Oh,
I should
I
have
know.
taken some pictures and some of them had their names.
Do you remember what it was like when you first saw Nike or held it in your hands? You were a player back in the day, my man.
Well, we were the first ones to have them, and they only had about 4 shoes. They had the Bruin suede low cut, they had the Blazer high cut in one color. They didn't make 9 million colors, and all the Cortezes that came out. Phil Knight was a track star at Oregon.
Oregon, right? Steve Prefontaine.
And those were actually copies of Tiger, which is now Asics shoes. It was called the Corsair, and he copied those with the swoosh on them. But they had colors for the schools. Oregon, green and gold, well, Blackhawks brand new at the time. Crimson and gold for Southern Cal, right across the river in New Brighton. And orange and black for Oregon State. Beaver Falls. You didn't have to be very smart to buy those and put them on the wall.
A thinker. All right, just share a couple more memories as I get ready to exit stage left here. Your dad. Tell me a little bit about your dad.
He was more into women's stuff than he was. He was the fashion king. We always had really great looking women's shoes, and all the mills, the girls used to come down at lunchtime, and he'd have all the colors and all the styles, and that was his thing.
Now Thursday, which as we go live to tape, was the big night in Beaver Falls, right? Was it Thursday night?
No, it was Friday night.
Friday night they were open late.
But and then in the mid '60s, there was a big push because it was Monday and Friday you were open till 9. And there was a big push to open on Thursdays, and my dad didn't want to do it, but he did it because the rest of the town was. Well, guess who the last store was to close on Thursday nights? Us. And all those other people, they after a few months, they bailed out.
You know the other thing that I miss? We always had one because my dad always told us we needed one. I don't have one, a shoehorn.
I've got plenty of little
Listen,
ones.
I can still see my dad. He had floor shimes. He had a pair of brown, a pair of black. Every Saturday night, we would, over the News Tribune or the Times, whatever paper, over the register so they would dry quicker. So when he would get up and go to church in the morning,
Polish the shoes.
be ready to go. I love this business though, and I know you do too, but I can't stress enough, no matter where you're watching this, you really want to get opportunities to save like never before on the biggest names in the business. You need to get here as he is kind of going out of business slowly, but he's putting sales up. Did you ever think you'd be having these kind of sales? Honestly. Taking a pair of shoes down to 40 that's normally 80.
No. Well, I never thought I was going to be in this position. I keep waiting for it to get better and better and better, and it's not happening.
So as this goes, it'll be 10, 20, 30, whatever. But then in the end, the shelving, everything, all that stuff's going to be up for grabs?
Everything. I've got tons of stuff in the basement.
What-
Furniture.
Do you really? Got any Enelow signs?
I do.
Like actually no neon though.
No, we never did have neon. But the old sign with the Enelow with the E, it was on our stationery, and the three little kids, the mom, dad, and the kid. It's still down there in pieces, and my son's going to take that and restore it.
You remember the late great Jim Reynolds?
I do.
So Jimmy Teddy Bear was an announcer here who was legendary down the street, which now they're no longer there. But he would have like kiss an elephant eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich day. My grandmother loved him. We all loved him. And then I met him in person the first time. This is a true story. So I'm reading at 12:45 the obituaries. Okay. I was survived by 13 grandchildren, the whole thing. He comes in the room and literally starts to make animal noises. Funniest guy I ever met, one of the most talented people I've ever met. And people say, how did you get where you are today? It's all the people that I've met along the way. I've taken something from everyone. Jim Reynolds, Jerry Graham in Ohio, John Cigna in Pittsburgh. And it's like that Sunday sauce. It's an ingredient. So last thing, what did your dad teach you about selling shoes other than maybe be more like Al Bundy?
Actually, my dad really didn't do it.
He didn't
We had girls here. Marie Rice was here. She worked for my grandfather back in the 60s.
How many years was she here?
Well, she worked for him till he closed in 62, took a couple years off, and came here in 64, and she worked here till she was in her early 80s. But she took me out on the store and told me what to do and kicked me in the ass if I didn't go out and do it right. Now, you go out there, and when you put that shoe around that woman, you put your hand around her ankle and bring that strap around there.
Make her feel wanted.
Yep. And I was 16, 17. I wasn't going to do that.
Do you realize that's
Kicking the ass. And
that's what we don't have anymore. That salesmanship. You know, that eye contact. I mean, don't get me wrong. Love Amazon. We all want to do it. Click on it, have it deliver to our house. But there's something about going. That's what I miss about the mall and some of the bigger names that used to be there. That person who sold cosmetics, you were buying something for your significant other, your mom, whatever. Somebody could help you. Shoes, for instance, men's suits, all that stuff. That's a lost art today.
I know.
But you're not. You're still here.
Well, I'm not what I was either. I'm old and I'm tired.
But you're still rocking the mullet. Listen, you understand, that's the greatest haircut, I think, since Elvis in Viva Las Vegas in 1965.
Well, you know, did you ever see Eastbound and Down?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was invited out with
Minor
about
league
six
baseball.
or seven pit guys. We were up at de Blasio's up in Mount Lebanon.
Ooh.
And I was over sitting next to Jim Orsillo and Steve Fidel, and on the other end of the table is Greg Meissner. Now, I really don't know Greg. He was Steve's roommate at Pitt, but I don't know him that well. And he yells, "Hey, Kenny Powers."
That was a great show, by the way. Listen, tell them what you're doing here, why they need to get here, and then we're going to say goodbye.
Well, what are we doing here? We're liquidating everything. We're at 20% right now on all our Major League Baseball T-shirts, all our Carhartt and Dickies. We got a ton of Dickie pants here, and we have some Dickie outerwear. Our Timberlands are 20% off. Men's dress shoes are all $39.90. We've got a ton of $39.90 tennis shoes here. We've got some $49.90 ones, 20% off on the few regular stock ones we have left. And there's a whole bunch of stuff I forgot to add.
And remember where you heard this. Shaq and Allen Iverson are going to turn Reebok around. Watch.
Reebok was so stupid. Those were the hottest things they had going, other than the classics and the princesses, and Reebok did a ton of Iversons that they test marketed that were never out. And I used to buy a ton of those. I'd have colors here that nobody else had. You needed to do something to get people to come in here.
Two of my all-time favorites.
And their shoes were great. It started with the Shaqs, and the Iversons had a million colors. I still see a few of them out there now.
Classics.
Well, Adidas bought Reebok, and they ruined them.
You know what I am excited about? No, we'll talk about that later. I am kind of excited about this Pitt football team. They drag me in every year. I mean, I can't help it. I saw this poll at ESPN. They're up to like the 39th team in the country now. I'm like giddy. I want to talk to somebody about it. I can't get enough of Pitt football. I love Pitt athletics. I just love Pitt athletics.
Well, you get off the air early Saturday. Come on up in section 109. There's probably going to be an empty seat next to me.
You're still going to the games?
I am. But I'm not going to West Virginia next week.
What do you think about Coach Rodriguez back there?
We'll see. He brought in 72 new football players this year. Now, there's something called chemistry. If you think they can get chemistry from the middle of March till now, then they'll have a successful season. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I know they haven't been real successful.
We do know it's Central Michigan this week, though, right?
We do.
Okay, good. Hey, how about Gino DeMarco told me a story? I got to leave you with this. How great the legacy, the football tree at that great university. We were talking about Dave Wanstead up there. We were obviously talking about others because of the whole America's team, the Cowboy and the Gambler, Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson. I'd forgotten that Jimmy was on the staff. Jimmy actually came to New Brighton, spoke to their banquet when he was on that staff.
He told me that story. I usually see him Friday morning over at McDonald's before I leave.
But I mean, John Gruden, who I think is going to come back into coaching, I don't know at what level, but he still has a lot to offer.
He started at Pitt.
Yes, I didn't know that either.
His father was a scout for the 49ers. And he came to Pitt. He was an assistant there. We had a ton. There's guys everywhere you look.
Johnny Majors, Jackie Sherrill, incredible.
They had phenomenal staff.
Walt Harris, though, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit.
No, he doesn't. He had a great offense. The team that Wanstead inherited, they had a phenomenal freshman class. Walt's last year at Pitt. There's probably 18, 20 of those guys that were key figures for Coach Wanstead.
Here's one more name. Macero Construction is actually going to be building the new Welcome Center at Geneva. I love Macero Construction. I love Geneva. I love this guy. I love Beaver Falls. And, my daughter works in Beaver Falls.
Where?
For the magistrate, Goodwald.
Oh, does she? Right across the street?
Yeah, here's what's the amazing thing. She didn't get it, but it means something to me. Goodwald, Yolita Goodwald, married to the late, great barber Snooky Goodwald, was my mother's maid of honor.
Oh, is that right?
And my mother's name was Eva, and here's another Eva with a Goodwald.
There you go.
Isn't that pretty cool?
It is pretty cool.
Not as cool as him.
No,
Listen,
don't blow my size 8 head up.
Listen, if Elvis were alive, this is what he would look like. Have a great day, everybody.
I hope he wouldn't have this gut.
No, believe me, he'd love to have that gut. He'd be alive.
Right.